Howdy guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new. Today I'm going to be reviewing and comparing the KVD Shake Primer. So if you're on Instagram or YouTube or anything, I'm sure you've probably seen this. This is like a revolutionary eyeshadow primer formula. I have never ever seen anything quite like this. Most of the primers that I've seen are kind of like the concealer type, like the ABH one. I also have this one from Milani, and Urban Decay makes one, Too Faced makes one. They're all pretty, like I kind of think they're all pretty similar until the KVD one showed up. So this KVD primer has a huge learning curve. It's definitely not as easy as just squeezing it onto your finger and applying it like these other standard, I guess you could call them, eyeshadow primers. But the selling point of this primer is that it intensifies your eyeshadow and it would work with any skin tone. So all of these other ones like the ABH, the Milani, the Urban Decay, the Too Faced, they're all quote unquote skin tone, but they're really like my skin tone. So if you're even medium or deeper skin, they're going to show up lighter, which might be good if you want the eyeshadow to show up brighter and you want the base as close to white as possible. But that's not always possible with deeper skin tones. So this KVD Shake Primer is designed to work with all skin tones because it grips onto the eyeshadow and helps it show up true to color. So hopefully that makes sense. So I just filmed a demo using the KVD primer on this eye, and then the ABH primer on this eye. So the KVD on my right, ABH on my left. It took me a while to figure out what palette that I wanted to use to test these eyeshadow primers, and I think I'm going to go with this e.l.f. Opposites Attract palette. I wanted something that wasn't super bright on its own, like my Colored Rain or the e.l.f. J Kissa palette, which are pretty bright, and so I wanted to get something that's a little more... These aren't terrible, I would say like they're about middle of the road. So I'm going to start with start by taking my glasses off, I suppose. I'm going to start with the KVD Shake Primer. I'm going to put that on this eye. You have to shake this primer a lot because it separates so fast. So you throw the cap off, get a drop. There is a way to tell if it's shaken up enough, and I don't know if I can show that on camera because it'll be hard for me to like use a drop and then take a picture. But I found that in this little bottle there is the gray liquid and then there's the clear liquid, and sometimes you can see, like if you put a drop, the drop needs to be all gray or it's not going to work. But sometimes if it's not ready, not shaken up enough, or it's settled before you get the drop out, then there's like a clear dot and then there's a gray dot in the middle. So maybe I'll shake it with my finger. I know you probably shouldn't do this, like touch the end of it, but I'll try that so I don't waste that millisecond trying to take the cap off. Got it. So one drop will do both eyes, and I just kind of split it between my fingers, and I'll just wipe off this other finger. Alright, then I'm going to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills eye primer on the other eye. Just about that much. I can't tell if that's focused or not, so hopefully it is. And I wouldn't say this is going to be an apples to apples comparison just because the Anastasia one has some color to it. So it's going to cancel out your veins and discoloration on your eyelids, which I wouldn't call that discoloration, it's just how your eyes are. So it's not going to give you that blank canvas. Or the KVD one's not going to give you that blank canvas like the Anastasia one or another similar primer would. So you can already tell this eyelid looks smoother and kind of blocked out, whereas this one just looks like I have nothing on it. So I'm not going to do too much of a tutorial. I'm just going to kind of apply it and then give my thoughts as we go. One thing to note about the Shake Primer is you have to apply the eyeshadow differently than I think you normally would. or at least differently than I normally apply eyeshadow. Usually I just kind of sweep it on, but with this you have to do more of a patting motion because it is tacky and it will just not stick if you swipe it. So I'm going to try swiping on this eye. So that worked a lot better than trying to swipe the product onto the one with the KVD primer. But also, this Anastasia primer creases before you're even done putting your eyeshadow on. But I found that if it starts creasing, I just kind of tap it a little bit and it's fine for the rest of the day. So with this side, the ABH one kind of looks, I tried to build up to where the colors were the same, but already I can tell I had to apply way more of this one, and it doesn't really work with the patting motion, so I do have to swipe it and blend it. But I feel like the colors just look smoother on the KVD side because I did not do the circular motion forever with the KVD side. I just patted it on and it looks fine. But this side, I tried to pat it and it didn't work, so I had to swipe it, and I even think the color looks slightly different if you can tell. And also my eyelid just in general looks smoother on this side than it does on this one. Also something to note with this KVD one, if you have hooded lids, I can already tell, I only put the eyeshadow up here, but if you can see that right on my actual lid, it's kind of coming up and sticking to the shadow on the top, whereas I don't have that with this one. I told you guys, I cursed myself. I said that I never get fallout with eyeshadow, and ever since I said that, I've gotten fallout, so I don't know what I'm doing. So I applied that deeper peach color on the outside, and I can tell the difference as well between this side and this side. And I'm applying the same amount on the brush, roughly. I mean, I can't get it precisely, like down to the gram or whatever of a product, but I'm trying to dip into it the same number of times and try to make it even. Then I applied that yellow on the inner part of my lid. Not really much difference there, but the KVD side definitely looks smoother as far as the texture of my lid. Like I don't know if you can see that or not. This whole video is going to be like, I don't know if you can see, but where I have hooded lids, it kind of looks a little wrinkly sometimes, just to be honest. And this, like my lid right here, looks a little bit more crepey almost. I don't know another word for that, but this one looks smoother. I'm not trying to do any complicated look. It's just, this is kind of what I would wear like on a day-to-day basis if I wasn't filming or doing a picture for Instagram or whatever. Do you guys put eyeshadow primer on your under eye? Like I kind of think that the concealer is enough there. Like I know some people put concealer on their lids instead of eye primer, but that never works. Like it always creases really, really bad on me, so I just stopped. Yeah, definitely telling right away that the KVD side is more intense. And I'll take pictures with that camera as well. I need to start doing my Instagram pictures with that camera because it's a lot better. And this camera here, it looks like this first color of eyeshadow that I did is almost non-existent. That's crazy. And then I took pictures with this good camera because I don't think you'd be able to really tell with my phone camera, or the front camera at least, but this is a picture of the KVD side, but you can see the clear difference between the two. And like I mentioned in that demo, my eyelid skin just looks different with each of these. Like it's really smooth with the KVD one, whereas it's kind of crepey and looks a little bit more wrinkly than with the ABH one. Also, the color is a lot brighter with the KVD one versus the ABH. The thing that I am testing with these is that I think the KVD Shake Primer will make your eyeshadow crease faster, but I've also only noticed that when I don't have it shaken up right. So if you mix it up well and it doesn't separate by the time you get it on your eyes, then it lasts longer, which is really difficult to do. So it's kind of a trade-off. It's like it's a really great primer if you can do it right. I've seen a lot of reviews of this that don't like it, say that I think it's because they're not shaking it up enough, because you really, really have to shake it. I mean, it will completely, I would say you have, like, just from sitting here and you shake it, I would say you have maybe 3 seconds, literally, like not even 3 seconds to get a drop on your finger before it separates again. Like, let me show you. So I'll shake it and then I will hold it up so you can see if this is even gonna work. All right, so I'm shaking it and then see how fast that separated back out. So you really don't have, not even 3 seconds, I'd say maybe 1 second to get it on your finger. But I'm knocking stuff over. But when it works, it works. With something like the ABH or the Milani Too Faced Urban Decay, whatever, those eyeshadow primers, you don't have to deal with all that, but the color is not as intense and my lid doesn't look as smooth. So it's kind of a trade-off. Like, do you really want to fool with trying to get the perfect drop of the KVD primer, or do you just want to throw something on and go? So that's why I'm not going to totally get rid of my other primers. I'll keep both around, but I think the KVD one is perfect if you are maybe doing just pictures for Instagram or something, or you kind of want it to be really bold and intense and easier. I think it's honestly easier to apply the eyeshadow with the KVD one. But if you are just using your stuff day to day and you're not really doing Instagram or anything like that, just a normal person putting on makeup, then I think the ABH or even the Milani one, which is significantly cheaper, would work for you just as well. So I will update at the end of the day, see how they're looking, and go from there. Alrighty, so it's a different day. I forgot to update. It kind of got really late that last night. So I started filming that demo at about 11 a.m. and by 11:12 p.m. they both were just barely creasing. Like, they were both almost exactly the same. I can't make this up, I swear. That was crazy. So I was kind of certain that the KVD side would have been creasing faster just from what I had noticed with it. But I think the key to keeping the KVD one from creasing is to mix it up correctly, which I did make a point to do when I applied it that day. Let me know in the comments if you have used either of these primers or if you have a different one that you like that's cruelty-free. I also have the e.l.f. Putty Eye Primer, but this one is really, really dry. So if you prefer the pot style of primer, I definitely can use this one with a brush. I also use the ABH one with a brush, but I don't think the KVD one you can use with a brush because it's too liquidy. I don't know. I'm getting off track. Like, keep adding stuff into this video. Click up here to watch my most recent video, or click up here to watch my face primer video. And give this video a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss seeing my face in your subscription box every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, sometimes Sundays at noon Eastern time. The links to these and my social media will be in the description box below, and I will see you guys in the comments. Bye.